My name is Sarah Adler, and this is the Incoherent Fangirl.
Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where we did not have to go on a wild goose chase to get this repeat offender intruder alert this week.
Yay! I'm so excited. I am Karen from Catoctin, Maryland.
I'm Mandy of Ithaca.
I wonder what that could
What
be.
did I do?
Oh no. In our timeline, it is July 21st, and in y'all's timeline, it's July 31st. How is it the end of July? That's crazy.
It's weird. Yesterday for y'all was my anniversary.
Yeah, I have that in my calendar.
Yay! 15 years.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Crazy talk.
I'm not old enough to have been married for 15 years.
No, we're just babies. How is that's not possible?
I know.
That's some weird timey-wimey shit right
I
there.
don't like it. I like it. I like being married, but I don't like
Yeah.
how fast it's going by.
Yeah, for sure. This week in fangirling, what did you do, Mandy?
I mean, it was more like this weekend since we're recording early.
Yeah, it's a couple days.
We did go see the Odyssey. People are ripping it apart to be edgy, but I'm married to a filmmaker, so I thought it was great. Like cinematically perfect. When you see the Cersei scene and understand that all of that was real and not CGI, insane. I should go ahead and start with people are complaining that no one is giving spoiler warnings to a book that was written down 3,000 years ago.
At this, I'm really confused because I thought everybody and their mom learned Greek mythology as a child.
And then we were like, I don't know about y'all, we were required to read the Odyssey in high school. I read
Yep.
the Iliad and the Odyssey for fun,
Yep.
but we were
Same.
required to read the Odyssey. Like
Yeah.
it was a
We
big,
studied
like,
the
2
Odyssey.
months long
Yeah.
thing.
Yes. Greek
Yeah.
mythology was an entire unit of study in my
Yes.
English class as a
Yes.
freshman.
Mine was senior year, but still, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm very confused because I truly believed that Greek mythology was just standard curriculum for everybody everywhere.
Apparently, okay. We also have to remember that the people complaining are the people who did not get past like a 4th grade reading level on purpose, like willingly.
That's fair.
So that's
Well, I
who
mean,
we're arguing with.
there's also the people who are complaining that it's not historically accurate when
It's not history at all, baby.
it's not history.
Yeah, I've got a
Oh,
whole
Lord.
list of
I'm sure.
rants. Okay, so I thought it was pretty freaking great. I'd like to see Christopher Nolan do more epics.
Mhm.
I did impress my husband the other day. I'm a former English major, so it's wild that he was shocked by this. But I said, when we were getting ready to go see it, I said, yeah, it's one of the earliest recorded stories that we have, like
Yeah.
the earliest recorded book, one of the earliest. I was like, it's not the earliest. I think that's the Epic of Gilgamesh, if I'm remembering correctly. And I asked a word, and she said, yeah, that's like the oldest,
Yeah.
whatever. And he was shocked by that. He was like, how do you even know that? Because I had like a whole semester on the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Do you
What
know
are
who I
talking
am?
about? Right. Who are you talking to right now? Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
15
Like,
years and you still don't know me.
right. I need him to do Dante's Inferno, and I need him to do Gilgamesh. I need him to do Beowulf. Josh was like, oh my God, Beowulf would be so good. It was insane, especially again, given that there was no CGI. When Cersei is turning these men into pigs, it is clay.
Ugh,
It's
that's
crazy.
amazing.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I didn't see that part. I was covering my eyes.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of puppets that are like the Cyclops is a puppet. Crazy. Okay, people are calling for spoiler warnings, which is crazy.
That's silly.
A lot of people are mad that Telemachus, who is Tom Holland, calls his parents mom and dad. We're a couple of hundred years from like Victorian English where they father and mother. We're thousands of years from the ancient Greek that these stories were written in. It doesn't matter if he says father or dad. Historically, they're about the same level of wrong. Like, you're weird. Like, you need to watch Loki and see how much time is just not real. Okay?
People just love to complain to complain. I swear to God.
Speaking of, people are complaining about Elliot Page as Achilles. Elliot Page does not play Achilles. Elliot Elliot Page plays Sinon. But just to say it, first of all, Achilles is not in the Odyssey. Achilles was in love with Patroclus. And so if you have a problem with a trans man or a member of the LGBTQIA plus community playing Achilles potentially, I have some bad news for you about Achilles. He was in love with a dude. Okay. So sorry to ruin your life. So was Alexander the Great. He was gay too. So I saw someone on Threads put it perfectly. They said, like, in the Spartan era and the Greek mythology and all of that, men were for love, women were for children. I mean, not everybody, but for Achilles and his era of mythology, men might have been for love, and it's okay.
I just
Okay,
really need. The media literacy is so dead.
Astounding. It's
It's
astounding.
insane because it's like you are complaining about XYZ and Zeus turned into a fucking cow.
Right.
There's a Cyclops.
Cyclops.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Historical accuracy who?
Right. They're mad that Achilles wasn't in it. The other people, not the people who are mad about Elliot Page being Achilles when he wasn't. They're
Which,
mad.
can
Other
we just
people are
talk
mad that
about
Achilles wasn't in it. And I'm like,
how hot Elliot Page has gotten?
oh my
Like,
God, I know. I can't.
I cannot. Like,
It's insane.
I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. Sorry, just throw that out
Okay.
there.
Other people are mad that Achilles wasn't in the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's not in the Odyssey. You're looking for the Iliad, I fear, which is the story of mostly the end of the Trojan War. And that's when you get Achilles and Agamemnon beefing. It doesn't get to the Trojan horse. It doesn't get to the fall of Troy, which is where we lose Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
So
I fear that people
if you
believe
want to
these
see
are
Achilles
one book.
fighting, if you want to see Achilles fighting, you need the Iliad.
I
He doesn't die in either of them, though. Yeah, he's dead by the time we get to the Odyssey.
Oh my
People just
word.
complain. So if you've lived under a rock or didn't go to an American high school or didn't pay attention in British lit or whatever literature class, the Odyssey is Odysseus's Odyssey to get home after 10 years of fighting in the Trojan War against Troy. He faces Cyclops, Sirens, Circe, Calypso. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, which is a whirlpool and a island with monsters that grab them that look like Rocky from Project Hail Mary, by the way. This is all over the course of an additional 10 years trying to get home to his wife and son, who are figuratively fighting off suitors all day, every day for her hand and Odysseus's throne. Like they're there all the time. So he's just trying to get back to his family. And it's that Odyssey. The cast was, I mean, of course you would rather see Greek people playing all of these Greek characters. I get it, but that would not have been a diverse cast either,
Yeah.
So like, I thought for the casting that we were given, it was perfect. Everybody was insane. Everybody was beautiful, stunning, should not look that good. Like, how did these people exist? I have a couple of trigger warnings. Just again, in case you've been living under a rock. Agamemnon sacrifices his daughter. I think in the Odyssey or in the Iliad, I'm sorry. I want to say she was older. In this, for the gut punch, she's like a toddler. And You don't see the actual sacrifice, but you do see her reaching and crying for her mother, knowing, and her mother knowing what's about to happen. And that is very rough. It's very quick, but it's very rough. And then there are a couple of dog deaths where I knew it, obviously, and I looked ahead just to make sure.
Yeah.
I've lost his name in my rage. The blind mentor, loyal to Odysseus, has Argos and his like litter of puppies, and he's throwing them off a cliff when Odysseus comes in and is like, no, give me this one, give me Argos. So you see a puppy get thrown. Obviously, Leguizamon has come out and said there was a net there. People are gonna hate me for that alone, but there was a net there. Just know the puppies are fine. And then Argos is kicked for begging for food, put outside on a dung pile, and as soon as his owner, spoiler alert, Odysseus makes it home. As soon as Odysseus gets there, Argos recognizes him, wags his tail, and then passes away because he's been watching and protecting his family until Odysseus came back. Sad, very, very sad. Both, obviously, Agamemnon's daughter and the dogs. Oh, one more dog death. Some of the suitors come up to, I hate myself. I'm going to remember his name as soon as like you start talking. Some of the suitors come and they kind of ambush him and they take all of his, I don't remember if it's sheep or pigs. I think it's pigs. And his dogs are barking at them in the yard. Well, Odysseus comes up a few minutes later and he's like, hey, where are your dogs? And he says, I'm burning their bodies on the pyre. And it apparently shows them. I knew to cover my eyes, but Josh was like, so I know it was bad. Be prepared for those moments.
Yeah.
I've told you when to look away. You see the toddler twice. You see it when someone says he's so brutal, he sacrificed his own daughter at the beginning, and then towards the end, you see why his wife and her lover conspired to kill Agamemnon. So once those conversations start coming up, go to the bathroom, hide your eyes, cover your ears, whatever you need to do. Last trigger warning, for the love of God, go to the bathroom when the other mommy trailer comes up. Have you heard about this shit?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. I would not call the Odyssey horror. I mean, like, it's a battle movie, but I would call it like a historical fiction or like, you know, a war movie. I wouldn't call it horror. I wouldn't expect a horror trailer at the beginning of it. I expected Spider-Man. I expected, I can't remember what else there were, but like they were all movies that I expected until this one. If you see Jessica Chastain's face, leave.
Oh no.
Let me walk you through.
I love her so much.
I do too. I was like, I love her. This is going to be like a psychological thriller. No.
Oh no.
So she comes in and she's like very kind of robotic, like a working mom. Like she's very like Cynthia's mom on the Rugrats, you know, like.
Okay.
She walks in and her little girl, who's maybe like 6 or 7, is like 6, 7.
Oh my God.
Her little girl is like playing in the living room and she's like, Mommy, you're home. And she says, I had a break and I wanted to come have lunch with you. And she talks very like business mommy. And she says, where's your dad? And she says, the little girl says he's taking a nap. So mommy puts some noodles in a pot and puts like a splash of water on them where immediately you're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're going to start a fire.
Yeah.
And so the mommy is talking to her about like Jessica Chastain is talking to her about like random stuff. And it just keeps focusing on the pot. And the mom is like acting weird. And then the plastic catches on fire. And so it's smoking and smoke detector's going off. And so like there's a little bit of chaos in the trailer back and forth. And the dad comes running out. And then it shows the whole room and the mom is not there. And so he says, honey, what were you doing? And she said, we were trying to make pasta. And he bends down to pick something up. And Jessica Chastain is under the table, folded up like a damn spider, doing this creepy ass smile. And it's it isn't a jump scare. in a trailer. It is a jump scare. I screamed. Like I literally was like, ah!
Lord.
Everybody in the theater was like, what the hell was that? And like Josh, who likes horror, was like, what just happened? And I've seen so many people like making like TikToks and threads about it now about like, that's the biggest trigger warning you need.
I'm terrified. And
It's so
I don't
scary.
even see it.
And I don't like when people are, I'm too squeamish. I don't like when people are bent the wrong
mm,
way. And she looked like a spider with Jessica Chastain's head, and she just kind of like, no.
no. Oh, I'm gonna have nightmares.
If you go to see the Odyssey and you're in the previews, go outside if you see her face.
Oh my God. That's
And then
awful
I'm
because
pissed.
she's so beautiful.
I know. And she's so good at like being creepy. And
Oh.
apparently it's like some spirit that can mimic the mom. And so she never knows, is this my mom or is this the monster mom? And it's like, it's a horror movie about that.
No,
And I'm
thank you.
pissed that they didn't call it, it must be some sort of like licensing thing from Coraline, but like, why other mommy when other mother is right there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all my trigger warnings for the Odyssey. The biggest one, I'm telling you.
Is the
It's
trailer.
rough.
Oh
Ugh.
God. Oh.
On the way to see the Odyssey, the show husband finished Restore Me because he only had like 20 minutes left in his in his Restore Me journey. On his Shatter Me journey, now he's in Defy Me. We saw the Odyssey Friday, and Saturday he had like a film job like 45 minutes away. And I had gone to the grocery store while he was gone, and I pulled in the driveway about the same time as him. And I got out of the car and I could hear Kenji. So he was even listening to it without me again. So he's working through Shatter Me, even when I'm not there, which I love. I've been working through Adversary to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. It's the fourth book in a series. I can't tell you anything other than I love her, obviously. And
Obviously.
then I read Wild Goose Chase by Sarah Adler, which we will talk about later.
Yay.
What did you do this week?
Okay, I read No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. You have Ella, who is a pop star, and she's not like a pop star. It's more like R&B, soul, that kind of genre of music.
She's a singer.
And she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And she's like really popular, up and coming. She is tired. She is tired of putting up with her husband, who is this renowned music producer. He discovered her.
Don't they always?
They have a very she signed a very predatory prenup because she was basically a child. And so but she is tired of his chronic cheating. So she hires this super high powered attorney to look into like how she can separate, because the way that the prenup is written is, like I said, predatory, and it gives him control over her music, even if they split.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, how do I leave this man while keeping my career? And it's looking like it's going to be a problem. And so her very smart, very powerful attorney is advising her, you need to be squeaky clean. No drama, no tabloids, no scandals, absolutely nothing that's going to make you look bad in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
Because for some reason, and we know the reason because he's a man, he can do no wrong. Never mind the fact that he's flouncing about Europe with his new singer person.
All this does is remind me of Aaliyah and R. Kelly, where she was like 17 and he like, I don't know. I don't want to say he got custody of her, but he had like conservatorship or something over her and then married her, or like was going to marry her. I can't remember. I'm fuzzy on it.
It's not good.
Vibes.
It's not good.
Yeah. The vibes.
Yeah. So unfortunately for Ella, there is a bit of a wardrobe mishap backstage. at the Grammys right before she is set to go on stage and present an award with this rising MLB star, and reformed bad boy, Miles Westbrook, who he very smoothly steps in. He saves the day, but unfortunately, it does cause a lot of rumors the next day because of the way that things fell out. Uh, yeah, it doesn't look good if you weren't there, if you weren't
That things
backstage,
fell out.
right? No, but if you weren't backstage and seeing exactly what happened, like it looked really bad
Yeah.
in the public eye. Um, So both of their PR teams go into crisis mode, and they have decided that they need to be like publicly linked, not necessarily in like a relationship, but they need to be publicly linked. They have to have a reason for them to seem like as friendly as they were with each other.
Yeah.
Even though they were like super professional and they were literally reading words that were given to them to read.
Of course. People
But
read into everything.
right. And so they, as their like strictly platonic PR relationship is being managed in the public, their feelings in private could very well ruin all of these very well laid plans.
Ruh-roh.
But it's a romance novel, so you know. I will
She
say,
works it out with her husband.
ooh, ooh. Let me punch that man in the face. Ugh. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good time. Yeah. Then I read Merciless Saviors by H.E. Edgman. This is the sequel to Godly Heathens and the finale in the Ouroboros duology. So there's really not a lot that I can say about it, except that it really literally picks up right where the first one ends, and it kind of meanders its way to the conclusion. The pacing's a little bit weird for me personally, but I enjoyed it overall. My favorite thing about this series is the fact that like the gods are incredibly unlikable on purpose.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like, and they're like the main characters, right? And it just makes me feel so like justified in like just life, because it's like we live in this world, and it's like, how can you believe there is a just God when this is the world that we live
Yeah.
in? And so I'm just like, okay, so there's just no God. Like
Right.
there can't possibly be a just God. Maybe there are these asshole gods like these people, and
Yeah.
it feels great. It feels great. And I will say this is an own voices read. It was written by a non-binary indigenous person, and there are bits and pieces of their personality or their culture, their like personhood in this book, and it's very, very cool. Um, The Hidden Kingdom by Tui T. Sutherland is book 3 in the Wings of Fire series that I have been very slowly making my way through during any car rides with my daughter. This is a 16 book series, so we've got a ways to go.
God.
Of course, there is like an overarching plot line that they're at war. The dragons are at war. The dragons are the main characters. The dragons are at war, and we follow this group of 5 little dragonettes, and they are, prophesied to like end the war. And so in this book, we follow Glory's journey, as the group finds themselves among the Rainwing tribe, which is her tribe, and kind of needing to solve a mystery for them that has bigger implications for the war as a whole. And it's really, I like the way so far that the author has written them, because each book so far follows one of the 5 dragonettes of the prophecy as they like return, because they were all taken away from their tribes as young little eggs, young hatchlings, because they were like, well, you're going to grow up to be the dragons of the prophecy, so we have to train you in certain ways.
Yeah.
And so each book is them like returning to their own tribe as with their friends, and kind of navigating what that looks like for them. Like, is this where I belong, or am I actually, I've already got my family, kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
it's really fun. And there is such a huge like kid following for this series, and it's very cool to like kind of dive into it, especially like my daughter's the perfect age to be reading these books. So it's really fun. And then I read That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf by Kimberly
Mm-hmm.
Lemming. I had to read that directly because
Oh yeah,
that's a
no,
lot
I'm
of
not
words.
remembering
A
the
lot of words.
title.
So you have Bree, who is immortal. She is trying to fend off the unwanted advances of Jack, who is a man, just a regular old man who is the worst. Um, he's a man. That's enough said.
Mhm.
But she's trying to fend off his unwanted advances. And then he tries to give her a drink, and she gets so annoyed with him that she takes the drink and she throws it at his head. Except that he moves too quickly, and the drink hits Felix in the back of his head. And when Felix turns around, he, being a werewolf, immediately imprints upon her and realizes that she's his mate. Unfortunately for him, the drink that was thrown at him is revealed to be a love potion that Jack was trying to give to Bree to get her to fall in love with him. And now she has accidentally dosed Felix with it. He is trying desperately to convince her that no, it's not the effects of the love potion. I'm a werewolf. I have imprinted on you. This is real. While she's just like, no, it's just the love potion. That would be cruel of me because you don't
Yeah.
there's no actual consent
There's
there.
no free will. Yeah.
And she can't comprehend the fact that he's like, no, I swear. And nobody around him is a werewolf, so he can't like explain it to them, like how
Yeah.
he can tell the difference between the love potion and actual anatomy. And so they just going back and forth. Well, her best friend's husband, who is a dragon shifter, is like helping her. They're talking through like love potions, and he's like, yeah, the effects of a love potion are really strong. It can get really bad if they don't get the objects of their affection. Like, they could die. And she's like, oh shit, what do we do? And he's like, well, we could do magic and we'll try to break it. And they're like, okay, cool. And so she goes back to Felix and she's like, we're gonna try and break this love potion curse spell whatever on you. And he's like, okay, but when it doesn't work, and she's like, no, it has to work otherwise. And he's like, well, if it doesn't work, then we bang, right? Because otherwise I die. And she's like, as a last resort, yeah, sure, we'll bang.
They bang.
You know, to save his life.
Oh,
to save his
no.
The horror.
Is he hot? Oh no.
He's a hot werewolf. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, the horror. Yeah, so it's a good time. It's Kimberly Lemming is just such a fucking hilarious author. Her writing is so fun. It's like it's a series of just improbable, like chaos that does not make sense, but also makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And it's always a good time. So yes, that's that. And then I also read Wild Goose Chase, which we will talk about shortly. And that was my week.
Yay. It's a good week.
Yeah.
Did you have a fictional boyfriend this week?
There is some piece of me that is just, I can't not love Callahan Lightner from Wild Goose Chase.
Yeah.
There's just something about this little nerdy, like, boy who is so down bad the moment he sees her that I can't say no to him. I can't.
Yeah.
He's just, I love him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's who I will choose for this week. I'm not asking. Don't look at me like I have
of Aaron Warner time, so
I'm
obviously.
like, don't look at me like I'm supposed to ask you a question. You were with Aaron this week. Let's be
I was
real.
with Aaron this week. I also like Callahan. I live for a good antique store. And so it's hot when a man starts talking about patinas and dovetailed joints and mid-century modern. It's like, all right.
Yep. Yeah. It's just something about it. It's just so good. So good. Love it.
Yeah.
That sound means we have an intruder alert.
It's a repeat offender.
We're so excited. We have Sarah Adler back. We're going to talk about Wild Goose Chase.
Yay! Love
Oh
it.
my
Love it.
gosh,
Love it. Love it.
so
Love it.
excited. Thank you so much for coming back, Sarah.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun last time.
Yeah, we did too. We're so excited, especially like you talked about this book last time, so it's so cool to be able to like have you back to talk about it some more.
Yeah, I think maybe the episode title actually came from me like yapping about this book instead of the book I was actually promoting.
You know what? It all comes together in the end. All right, so the first question we always ask is the most difficult one. Can you give us the elevator pitch of the book?
It is the most difficult one. You would think I would be good at this by now. But it's about a antique dealer who is kind of stuck in his ways, stuck in life, who through a series of events winds up in possession of a probably illegal taxidermy Canada goose and is altruistically blackmailed by his very cute temporary colleague at his antique store. But then they manage to lose the goose and they have to track it down on a literal wild goose chase through Baltimore, and they fall in love in the process.
I have to
It's
know,
the best.
where did this idea come? Like, how did this come to you? Because that is brilliant. It's hilariously brilliant.
So this is actually like a really cool thing for me because I originally thought of the idea as a different idea several years ago when I was working on my second book. I thought it was going to be one with a taxidermy eagle. And I got about 20,000 words into it before I shelved it and moved to Happy Medium instead. But while I was working on that, my critique partner, Amber Roberts, who just like knows a lot of things about a lot of things, when I told her the idea, she's like, "Isn't that illegal to have a taxidermy eagle?" And I was like, "Is it?" And I started researching.
No idea.
It's not a thing you generally think about. But you probably have not seen one outside of a museum, and there is a reason for that.
Yeah.
So I started researching, and I found out about the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918 and all that. And then I kind of just shelved that information in my brain for later once I shelved the project. But it was always something kind of in the back of my mind, along with like other fun historical facts that I'm like, maybe one day I will use this. And so when we were trying to figure out what my fourth book would be, it was like months and months of brainstorming with my agent, and everything I sent her, she'd be like, "I don't think this is quite it." And was getting really frustrated because I knew she was right. And I was just like, "Oh, we got to figure this out soon because like we're running out of time here." And so my husband and I went out to lunch. My husband and I went out to lunch one day at a Cuban restaurant. Not relevant. It was just good food. And we were just chatting, brainstorming out loud, what this book could be. And I was like, I think it would be cute to do something in an antique store. Like, that would be a fun vibe. And I was like, but what happens in the antique store? Maybe they're in possession of something they shouldn't have and they lose it and they have to track it down. And my husband went, oh, like a wild goose chase. And I went, huh, what if it was like a porcelain goose? And then I went, wait.
Hold
What if it
on.
was a real goose? Because that's illegal. And so I did a quick check, made sure that like Canada geese were on the list of birds you cannot kill. And then like it kind of exploded from there. And it was like this cool full circle moment of like this philosophy that I try to live by of like nothing you create is ever a waste.
Yeah.
Because it either is the bridge to the next thing or it like comes back around.
Back, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that
Oh,
is
I love
so
that.
cool. That is so fun. So you mentioned some other like weird laws, weird history things that you know. Is there anything like maybe even just in your research for this book that like either shows up in some fun way in this book or like that you might show up in future books?
I have so many that I either haven't figured out how to make it into a rom-com because it's actually like really dark, or have not yet convinced my team to let me do. There's this like thing called the Crash at Crush from 1896, where basically there was this big promotional train crash they did, where they're like, we're just gonna run two trains into each other at full speed, and we're gonna sell tickets to it. It's like we're gonna sell cheap tickets on the train so people can come see it, and it was like this big promotional thing and a huge event. But like when you run two trains into each other, that's bad. And it basically exploded and debris went everywhere and people were like killed and injured. And like it was a huge disaster.
Oh my God, I feel bad laughing, but oh my God.
I know, it's like a crazy thing though. And I have not figured out how to make that into a rom-com yet. I feel like that's a lit fic project.
That would be really good though, if you can get it. That would be really good.
A descendant of someone who just lost an arm or something.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of the, don't hold me to this, but one of the most famous photos of it was a journalist, like a photojournalist who actually got like blinded by it. So like,
oh my God.
Ironic, I guess. But again, not really conducive to a rom-com.
No.
So I haven't gotten to use that yet. And then my latest like weird hyperfixations like of historical like things, the transatlantic telegraph wire is like one of my things right now. And then automatats, which were like underground bunker houses, but it was like a huge bunker made to look like the outdoors. And then the house was like freestanding inside of it.
Oh.
So it wasn't like you go into the bunker and it's your house. You went into the bunker and you were outside again, and then you have to go into your house. And they would like have fake grass, and they had like a pool and like fake trees, and they would paint the walls to be like landscapes, and they'd
Isn't
have
there
like
one of those you can go to in like Vegas?
Yeah, so that's where one of the most famous ones. I don't know if you can go there, but that's the one that like caught my attention. I saw a video about it, and the guy who owned that one was like really high up at Avon, the like makeup company.
What's he worried about?
There was like a rumor that there were tunnels leading from the bunker to like Avon headquarters so that he never had to go outside. Like this man really didn't like the sun, I guess. So yeah,
spoiler alert, he's a vampire.
Yeah. But I find it really fascinating, and like the history of that, and the guy who like created the first one tried to like sell the concept at the World's Fair, and it cost like $1 million to build the prototype for the World's Fair, and then nobody ordered one.
Well, people like vitamin D, so
yeah. And I do have a rom-com idea for that one, but I have not yet convinced my agent and editor on it, but we are in discussions, so who knows what will happen.
All right, well, if you need somebody to back you up on this, we got you. Just send them our way, we'll convince them.
So we kind of touched on this, but it had me rolling how like it was believable, so this is not a criticism at all, but how many people knew about taxidermy bird laws in this book, where it was like I would never have any idea what you can and can't taxidermy. But also, so many of the people Annie and Cal encountered are so freaking rude. What do you mean you borrowed a bird and then loaned it to somebody else and then gave it? What was it like? What was the writing process like for crafting such a wild series of events for this goose to go on?
This book was so weird to write, because it all just came so easily and naturally and just kind of flowed out of me. I feel like I just intuitively knew
where the goose was going.
What the next step would have to be. It was so strange. It was like, you know, what is the logical place for it to go from here? Like, and I mean, the logical place is also often the funniest, I guess, in this particular instance. And I also like got a little inspiration from like people I've met, or just kind of like archetypes of people that I wanted to make sure to include. And you know, just like I think that people in general are just interesting, and I love getting to like put a bunch of secondary characters into a story. So this was like a lot of fun to throw in all these weird, interesting people. And like, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it like go to
And
I
it's
was
so
like,
cool
guys,
because they can be just so out there, and that can just be their thing
yeah.
because we don't see them very like for a long time. So they can just be that one thing and be that one thing really well.
Yes, exactly. Oh, it was so funny.
It was a good
Like
time.
it just had me dying. Where it's like they said they'd have it back to me by Saturday, and like Saturday rolls around, and they're like, "Oh, I gave it to this guy. He said he needed it," and you're like, "What?
What do
How
you
many people
mean?
need a goose?"
Apparently, a lot of people.
But it was
So
all like believable. Like,
yeah,
oh, well, that makes sense why you would need a goose.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my writing is always just like on the edge of absurdity. Like
Yeah.
it's how like I always feel so stupid saying it considering the kinds of books I write, but other than like the speculative elements in happy medium, I always try to go for something that could happen. Like
hmm
it's
Yeah.
always something that technically could happen.
yeah,
So that there's not like too much like suspension of belief, like disbelief. What
yeah.
is the
Yeah.
term? Is it the suspension of disbelief or suspension of belief?
Oh,
I
I don't
guess
know.
disbelief because you're
I think
suspending your
it's
disbelief.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. We're all word people and we can't figure it out. It
There's
is what it is.
There's too many words and they're all so similar. But yeah, I feel like a lot of what I do is like, what is the line and how close can I get to it
yeah.
before it crosses over into like just too stupid?
I think you straddle it really well
You did
because
Thank
you're right.
you.
perfectly.
They definitely you're right. Technically, all of these things could happen.
Yeah.
Is it probable that they all happen at the same time? But you know what? It's okay. So was it always, did you always intend to have kind of a dual timeline? And like, how did you decide when you needed to kind of jump into the past and visit with them before coming back to the future or the present?
So it goes back to the original project that I shelved.
Hmm.
Because it actually was two projects, I guess, and that turned into one. Where one was a purely historical about a local cryptid called the Snallygaster. And the idea was this newspaper man makes up a story about the Snallygaster in the area, and then this female ornithologist comes to investigate from the Smithsonian on behalf of President Roosevelt and discovers that it's all, a fraud. Like he's a fraud. Like he just made it up. A hoax. That's what that's called. And it turned, but then everyone's like, but we're seeing it. It's here. And they have to figure out what it actually is. And I was like, oh, it's a big ass eagle. Because apparently like the biggest bird it could be is like a golden eagle. And so that was the original idea, but um my agent was like, it's a little early to be switching to historical. You just released your first book. Um, and so she was like, maybe not. And then I had another idea that involved, um, I guess it was Cal and Annie still, but they were different iterations. Cal was still in the antique store. Annie, though, was at a historical society. And Cal came to do research at the Historical Society. And eventually, when I got my agent's okay on the project, it was combining those two ideas. So Cal wound up with this goose, or with an eagle back then, and then had to research it at Annie's Historical Society. And it was switching back and forth between the Snallygaster historical timeline and, it was the same eagle, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Um, so it was kind of just like a given to me that I was going to do a historical timeline with this one too, because I wanted to explain where this goose came from. Like
Yeah.
you can't have like Chekhov's goose without like
I
it firing, I guess, without it honking. So I knew that I wanted to do that. And Aura and John are like, again, like derivative of the original characters from the original project, so like it was really fun to get to bring them back, and play with them in a more solid way. And then as far as like the back and forth, it's always I do everything by vibes. Like it's the least efficient way to work, honestly. I wish I wasn't like this, but I cannot understand structure, and I need to just go based on what feels correct, which means a lot of trial and error. But luckily, I have a really good editor, and if I'm ever wrong about where we cut to a different part, she'll be like, "Hey, maybe let's move this, or let's have another scene here," or, but yeah, so it's it's really vibes based as to like where that fits in and how.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So what I also had a note about the dual timeline because you do such a good job of like speaking even as the narrator in the like perfect dialect of the time period for each of the characters. What was it like jumping back and forth in time, and did you have to do any other than like bird laws? Did you have to do other research on like their time for Aura
Um,
and John?
so because of my background in history, I try not to do too much research because I know I can like easily fall down a rabbit hole and then it'll be like 4 days later and I haven't written anything but know like a lot about some random subject. And so I try to get the details correct, but not stress too intensely about it because like I am not writing a history book for people to learn from necessarily. Like it doesn't have to be 1,000% correct. That being said, I do have a reproduction 1908 Sears and Roebuck catalog that I referenced a few times for fashion styles, for like what kind of suitcases like did they have, like what were they referring to them as, things like that, which was one of the main reasons I said it in 1908, honestly. So I could just be like,
So
like
smart.
let's look up what hat he would be wearing. But that was kind of what I did, and then I had done some research on sort of the history of the Smithsonian and like where they would be working at that time, and like just the general history of naturalists and biology and all that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I did most of my research after the book was done, because a really good nonfiction book came out this past spring called The Feather Wars by James H. McCommons, and it's the history of bird conservation in America, and it's
Whoa.
so good and it's so interesting, and I'm really glad I read it then because I feel like I could have gotten so bogged down trying to add like
Oh
all these
yeah.
fun facts
Yeah.
into the narrative. But now I can just talk about them in interviews and tell people about the importance of bird conservation. Um, but I mean, one of the like most interesting things that I learned in that book is just the scale of like how many birds were killed in the 19th century. Like there used to be passenger pigeons. We do not have them anymore. But they were so abundant, they would fly in flocks that were literally like 2 miles wide and 13 miles long.
Whoa.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
we do not have anything of that scale anymore in the United States. Like
No.
the
Oh,
closest
wow.
thing
That's
you can
crazy.
probably think of is like flocks of starlings.
Yeah.
But even then it's like nothing compared to what it used to be like. And they would black out the sky for hours passing over towns and, raining down poop, and like their wings would create wind and it would
Oh
startle the
my
cattle, and people
gosh.
just had to like go inside and like wait out this like
The
bird assault,
geese, the birds,
and they're gone.
or the
People
pigeons.
killed that many birds.
Wow.
Look, okay, slight spoilers. I nearly fell out of my chair when she said, "It's a shame I'm going to have to kill it." What? I was with John. I was like, "What did she
Yes.
say?"
Yes.
What?
Yeah, but you know what's crazy that I also learned from James H. McCommon's book is that originally when you were studying birds, when you were considered like a naturalist, and mostly it was hobbyists, it was like rich men who like didn't have to work, would consider themselves like experts on birds before there was like an actual study field of ornithology. um it was considered best practice to kill at least 100 of the same species to have a proper sampling of the variation.
Oh my
So
gosh.
even the people that were like quote unquote like studying birds had like hundreds of each type to reference, and it was more of a collection and like clout thing than it was real science. So like, yeah, it was.
See, I
And
was
then
like,
it was,
not Albus. No,
I know.
can't do
So
that.
like, it was like a pretty big transition into like field observation and birding as a hobby and like watching birds, and women were largely responsible for that turn. There's like a lot of women's rights history connected to bird conservation, which is something that I found really interesting while researching
That
this
is
project.
cool.
So it's a lot of things are connected to bird conservation. Honestly, I could go on forever. So you should change the subject before I do.
No, I love that though, because it feels like, and that's one of the things I think, like, I always say humans are the worst thing that have ever happened to planet Earth, because we are. But it's one of those things that you don't think about how interconnected we are with like nature. Like, if bees go extinct, we're screwed.
My niece
We've
just
messed up
recently
birds. Like,
My niece just recently did a paper on how humanity is an invasive species on Earth.
yeah.
And I was like, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. You're
We
right,
suck.
we are.
Yeah, I mean, and it also, and one of the ways they got people to chill out with the killing is like promoting birds as natural pest repellent. Like, oh, if there's more birds, then they eat the bugs that are
It has
eating
to
your crops and
benefit you.
annoying you, and like,
Oh.
so people were less likely to kill them. And that's, ignoring the whole feather trade for fashion. It was like that alone almost wiped out most of the species that were like being killed for fashion. So and there's all sorts of interesting like legal theory stuff behind it, which is why it's a treaty instead of a law. And yeah, it opens a can of worms.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to make a joke about the early
I was
bird,
gonna
but
say
yeah.
the worms.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And like, I got to meet James McCommons because I found out about the book, read it really fast, and then thankfully he was like coming nearby to give a talk like the next week, and so I got to go meet him, and I was
Oh,
like,
that's so
I was
cool.
like, this is gonna sound. I slid him a sticker of the leucistic goose with the U.S. code on it, and I was just like, this is gonna sound insane, and I'm sorry, but I wrote a rom-com about the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and I would love
That's
to
amazing.
connect. And he's like, huh.
That's
So,
amazing.
So funny.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the like weirder conversation openers I've ever had to start with.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, we would love to continue to keep you forever, but we did promise that we wouldn't. So we'll head into our questions that we always ask. As you know, we have a segment on the podcast that we call Fictional Boyfriend of the Week, in which we pick a fictional character that we really vibed with that week. Doesn't necessarily have to be a boyfriend. I've had a fictional granny. Mandy has a fictional son. We've got fictional pets, as well as ones that really want to be in the interview. Do you have any fictional characters currently that you're just like, oh, everybody should meet these people?
Can I have like a whole fictional extended family?
Yes.
Yes.
So I've been like on a Mary Ballard kick for the last several months, going back I think to last year. And I'm currently reading her Westcott series, which is like a bajillion books, and they're all related sort of in some way or another. It's a giant family, and I'm having such fun like just reading this series and sticking with these same characters and watching them like interact. And then once they get their happily ever after, it's like you get to keep seeing them in the next few books, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm gonna say the entire Westcott extended family is
I love
it.
my fictional I guess not boyfriends
Fictional
and girlfriends and moms and aunts and
fam.
etc.
Yeah,
children.
your fictional fam.
My fictional fan. There we go.
Love
Okay,
it.
so that may be your answer for this question too. What, like, we love your books, obviously. We're obsessed and we're not going to stop recommending them, but what are you reading? What are you recommending? Favorite book of all time, or just go read that series?
Books. There are a couple really wonderful debuts out this month specifically. Kate Eberly, If Books Could Kill, is the genre mashup of my dreams. It's, this woman accidentally wishes to be in her favorite romance author's next book, but she doesn't realize that her favorite romance author has like tried her hand at writing a thriller.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
And so she like winds up in this like really crazy like thriller like mystery sort of situation, and there's a guy, and it's just, I love it so much. I've read it twice now, and I get to do an event with Kate next week in Brooklyn. I'm so excited. I've like basically demanded she be my friend. Like as soon as I read it, I was
Yes.
like, hello, we are friends now. You have no choice.
Taking you hostage.
That's the
And
best
then,
kind of book when you're just like, we are friends now. I'm so sorry.
yeah, it's like I find sometimes you read a book and you're like, I love this person's brain, and that's how I felt with that book for sure. And then Leslie Renee, her debut, Maggie and Arthur's Magic Moment, comes out the same day as Wild Goose Chase, the 28th. And we are doing our launch event together here in Frederick because Leslie is in Northern Virginia, not too far away. And that book is so cute and fun, and it's like cozy fantasy academia, but with like real stakes, and like it's just I had so much fun reading it with my husband. We read it as a read aloud and had a really good time, and I'm excited to talk to Leslie about some of the stuff in there. Especially as someone who doesn't write fantasy, like it'll be really interesting to see what she has to say about some of, because like when you're writing fantasy that's also kind of the real world, like how do you decide what to make fantastic and like what is just normal, like
Yeah.
how things charge, like I don't
Yeah.
know, it's so interesting to me. I
Yeah.
never think about these things. And then a couple months ago, Sophie Benoit came out with, I believe it's her fiction debut. I think she has a nonfiction book that came out before, but it's called The Very Definition of Love, and it's a historical romance about this like word nerd wallflower and this like really rakish, charming man that she has to enter a marriage of, I guess, inconvenience with after they're found together in a library. And I also have read that one twice. I really love that one too. So there's just like so many good books that have come out this year, and I'm always so far behind on my TBR, but those I have managed to get through. And I'm currently reading my friend Josette Alamensa's debut, How to Hate a Prince, which is coming out in November from Harlequin, I believe, and that is a lot of fun too. It has this like Talia Hibbert meets early 2000s rom-com vibe that's like
Oh,
so
sold.
fun.
Sold.
Sold. Amazing. All right. Well, what comes next? What can we expect from you? I think you're taking a break for the next, you're writing, you're drafting right now, right?
I know.
No.
I'm
Like I
supposed to be.
feel like
Yeah, I mean, I've really I want to say I've been thrown a curveball, but I guess I threw it at myself. I somehow threw a curveball at myself.
well, it
Um,
curves, so it comes back. That's
it curved like
it
a
curves back.
boomerang.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
curveballs work, right? I don't know. I
totally.
don't
It's just like a
sports.
boomerang. Um, Basically, I wrote a whole book in 3.5 months in the midst of severe burnout, and then realized I shouldn't have done that because it was not good, and it was not good enough to fix. It wasn't worth fixing, and my team was very supportive. I guess that means they agreed, and then we kind of met up and brainstormed, and we're like, okay, here's another idea that's like kind of related, and like, let's go. And I started working on it, and then submitted some stuff, and they're like, are you sure? And I was like, No.
No, you're not.
So we're back to the drawing board. We have finalized a Zoom meeting for brainstorming. I've sent a few ideas over, some of them more baked than others, none more than half baked, however. And we're gonna just kind of let the creative juices flow. And between me and my agent and my editor, we're hopefully going to come up with something that feels right. And hopefully that gives me enough time to like attend to my mental health and not like make it worse again.
Burnout. Yeah.
Because that was a lesson learned the hard way
Yeah.
that sometimes pushing through is not the answer.
No.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
it must be nice to just have that team behind you too, like who are supportive and can help you like figure out what you're trying to say because you're trying to tell a story and you've got these people here like, hey, maybe this direction or maybe that direction, and that must feel really lovely to not because I feel like a lot of times people are like writing is a very solo act, but you do have people behind you who are encouraging and helping in that way.
Yeah, I'm so lucky. I have a really, really good team, and I've worked with all the same people pretty much my whole career so far. And they always are like, your mental health is the most important thing. And it's really nice that they're not just saying that. Like they truly mean
yeah, they
that.
truly
If
Yeah.
mean it.
I if I'm like, hey, things are rough, they're like, okay, like, do you need an extension? What do you need? Very supportive. And I really am lucky to have that because yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, I would probably write the most unmarketable, craziest thing that nobody wants. So it's nice to have like outside people to be like, okay,
Take a step
interesting.
back.
However,
Yeah.
or to say that's fun. Could you combine it with this other thing you're thinking? And then I have like kind of an aha moment that leads to the right
Yeah.
thing. So I love working with people who understand how I think and also like moderate how I think a little bit to make sure I don't completely lose the plot.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I know I have all the faith in the world that no matter what it is, it's going to be quirky and fun and perfect.
yes. Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Well,
All
whenever
right.
that may be, you know the rules. Now that you've been on the podcast, you are legally obligated to come back for your future book releases. So we'll be here waiting. Whatever
Mhm.
that next book is, we're excited for it. But in the meantime, all our listeners, by the time this episode comes out, the book is out. So you can go pick up a copy of Wild Goose Chase. It's so much fun. We love it so much.
I've
Go
been
read it.
complaining all episode about how sleepy I am, and it's your fault because I stayed up late last night because I could not put it down. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. I had to finish.
Love to hear it.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Sarah,
so
for coming
much.
back and joining us. This
So
was
fun, my
so
face
much fun.
hurts.
Always so much fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me again. I look forward to, I guess, 2028.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we will
we'll
be
see you
here.
then.
We'll be here with bells on, waiting for you. We can't wait.
Amazing.
Alrighty, have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. I love her so much.
I
My
love her
face hurts.
so much. She's so much fun. And like she was talking about like loving being able to be like, I love this person. Like I love her brain.
Yeah.
I love her brain. I love being able
Yeah.
to see how her brain works through her
Yeah.
books. Like it's so, so fun.
She has such an infectious personality too.
Yeah.
Like she just,
Yeah. Like I was tired
I love
before
her.
this.
Yeah.
I'm still tired, but I'm a little bit more energized.
That was so fun.
Yay.
Before we get into announcements, I have to introduce somebody because he's up here. Bye bye.
Oh, that's
He wasn't up here
right.
last week.
The listeners haven't met him yet.
Okay, listeners.
Oh, he's a baby.
I told George Bailey that when it was time to give another dog a home to let me know. And then this guy starts showing up on my Facebook. And his name at the rescue, named by the rescue, was Ryerson. And like a lot of people know who Zayden Ryerson is, but not a lot of people know who Zayden Ryerson is, right? It's like a specific sect of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent it to Josh and he was like, oh, that's cute. And then like, we didn't think anything of it. I was just like, look at that cute little dog. Well, then like a week later, he shows up again. And so I sent it to Josh again, and I was like, he's back. So I went downstairs a few hours later, and Josh is on his phone, and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm filling out the application for this rescue to go meet this dog. And I was like, you don't have to do that. He's like, you've sent him to me twice. We at least have to go meet him. He said it was like a 14-page long, like, first of all, like your information, who are you, references. Then it was like a quiz.
Oh
How
my.
often, or what kind of food do you feed your dogs? How often should a dog have vaccinations, and what vaccinations? Like, do you ever crate your dogs? If so, for how long? Like, what happens when you leave, like to go to work or whatever? Like, when you travel, who keeps your dogs? It was a lot. And then we didn't hear anything. And so I'm like, they took your $20 and they ghosted you. Well, the show husband and I have like spam blockers on our phones. So like phone calls go to they go straight to
Yeah.
voicemail if you're not in my phone. And if you don't leave a message, I don't know,
Right.
like you're spam.
Right.
He got a text message that said, hello, Joshua, my name is blah, 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 and I am reaching out today. And he stopped reading it because he was like, this is spam. The foster that had Ryerson was trying to reach him. And he saw it days later and he was like, oh my God. So he called him back. They said, yes, Bebe is still, we've been calling him Bebe, which is what my 2-year-old nephew calls my 6-month-old niece, Bebe. And he's Bebe. So we go over there and the show husband, like, we meet them, but he's in front of us, or he's in front of me. So he takes Ryerson first, and Ryerson immediately crawls up on his shoulder and falls asleep.
Oh.
He cares more about Josh, far more than he cares about me. But internet, besties, incoherent fangirlies, this is Ryerson Dorian. He's named after two of our favorite shadow daddies. He is 3 pounds of fury. He is all black. It is precious. We thought we found a white hair on him the other day. No, it was Poochie's. Sometimes when he's facing you, you can't see his eyes because he's so dark. So you don't know if he's facing you or away from you. But he's very sweet little 3-pound chihuahua. Little long-haired chihuahua.
Oh.
He's very tender-hearted and dramatic. The other day, he was trying to chew a cord, and I need you to not do that. So I just bopped him on the nose with my finger. Like, I didn't hurt the dog. But I no. Went running to the foot of the bed crying.
End of the world.
Screaming. End of the world, as if I had hit him, which I have never hit this dog. But I just tapped him on the nose to get him away from the cord, and he cried and cried.
Oh, you're so mean. You're so mean. That was so mean of you. How dare you? He's never done a wrong thing in his life.
I know. So nothing will ever, ever replace the show dog, like George Bailey. I miss him every day. I still cry myself to sleep sometimes. That was my heart. But I think Georgie sent this guy, and Harry sent this guy. Hey, you see your friend? He's like, I'm gonna go to sleep now.
He's like, I'm the only chihuahua.
Say hi, Roma.
Hi, look at that's your buddy.
That's your new bestie?
Yeah. I know, he's just a baby. I know.
This is
Ryerson,
Dorian, Ryo, Bebe. Bebe is the one he recognizes right now because that's what we call him the most. My nephew will say, "Who da? Ryerson?"
Oh. I love. All right.
Anyways, I needed to introduce everybody to Ryerson, wing leader. Anyways, here he is. He's here. Oh, nine times out of 10, he's going to be wherever Josh is. So probably won't see him much on the show because he loves his daddy. He follows Josh around, and I'm just like, daddy.
He's such a baby.
He's a baby.
He's such a baby. Look at that's your friend.
He's very curious about everything. It's so funny. We haven't had a puppy in years because we thought Poochie was about a year old when he showed up. This guy was, I think, 5 months when we got him.
Oh, a baby. Just a baby. Look at that. Look at that baby. Yeah.
You see your friend?
We got another show dog. Another show dog.
Oh, and this tail is wagging constantly.
Does he? Oh, he helicopters. Yeah.
Yeah.
You little helicopter. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now it is time for announcements. Next week,
Multiples.
I know.
Let me get
Next
my
week,
stack.
let's talk about this because next week, not only do we have a double header, but we have double repeat offenders because we're talking to you, Hannah Nickelmere and Chloe Gong. I'm sorry. What a powerhouse.
I
This
know.
this episode,
The
so
only
good.
way would be better is if we could have gotten them on the
Together.
same episode together. That would have been cool.
Yes. That I feel like that also, like it's already chaos when it's just one of them with us,
Yeah.
but like all together,
Honestly, I
oh
want to get Hannah and Brienne at the
yes,
same time.
nothing would be talked about. Books
No.
who? It would be so good. No, but I'm so excited.
I
It's gonna be super fun.
know.
Yay!
Yay.
All right, now it is time for a spiel.
Yay.
Okay. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. Follow us on social media. We are at The Incoherent Fangirl on all the things. Visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. Head over and subscribe to Patreon for early access to podcast episodes, full video episodes, bonus content, and the opportunity to ask questions of our guests. That's always fun.
Mhm.
If you're looking for some merch, you can visit our merch store at theincoherentfangirl.com/shop because Mandy gets bored with an iPad sometimes, and we all reap the benefits of it. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, design ideas you want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept all of that in our inbox, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all. And of course, one last way to support the podcast is to rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Give us your
Give
words.
us
We
some
love
words.
words. You know this. You know this. You've been around long enough. She is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
She's at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And once you followed us on social media and you followed the podcast on social media, you can head over and visit our internet besties and do some self-care because we love you and we want you to stick around forever.
Yes,
So-
obviously.
First stop, you're going to visit our friends over at Here Comes the Nerd at herecomesthenerd.com. You're going to get you some pins and artsy goodies. Use code FANGIRL and you'll get 20% off your first order.
Then when those artsy goodies and pins aren't enough, you can head over to onceuponabookclub.com, use code Karen10 to get 10% off of, I don't know, maybe a box with a short story that I wrote in it. But you have to spell Karen right or you're going to get no percent off. And we are going to make you sit in a room with all of the people complaining about the Odyssey and just have to listen to them talk about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's actual torture.
Yeah.
Actual torture. Ooh.
Also, I hate how I worded this. Obviously, pins and artsy goodies are enough, but I want you to add to your collection of nerdy things, bestie things.
Listen, Mandy's very tired today, okay?
I'm so tired.
She's so sleepy today, you guys.
I'm a sleepy girl.
Words are hard right now.
After I said it, I was like, wait, that sounded bad. And I don't want it to be bad.
You're like, that's
I
not
love
what I
Joanna.
meant.
No.
That's not what I meant. I meant this other thing.
When you need more cool collectibles for your shelf, when you need more goodies.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
Let's spell Karen right.
Yeah, that's really important, actually.
Yeah.
All right, and then you're going to visit our friend Amber D. Lewis at amberdlewis.com. You're going to add 10 of everything to your cart because then you're going to add code FANGIRL10 and then you'll get 10% off of the 10 of everything, which means you've gotten one of everything for free, and that's just math. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Hello.
You're such a savvy shopper.
And last but not least, you can support my family. You can follow the show husband. He's at Borna Josh on all the things. You can follow at Searchers Believe on all the things. That's his paranormal investigation group. If you go to searchersbelieve.com/shop, you can get some more merch designed by moi at 10% off if you use code FANGIRL10. I think they're also selling some event tickets if you want to come to Savannah and do some ghost hunting with them. I will be there. I will not be ghost hunting. I will be in the room by that point. But if they do things before, The ghost hunt. You come see me. That's in November. Um, you can follow the Searchers Podcast at Searchers Podcast. Maybe we'll go back to it, but there's stuff there that you could catch up on. But the big one is go follow at Stream Beacon TV on all the things. Beacon TV is his paranormal horror true crime streaming platform. This while you're listening to this, it'll be about the 2-year anniversary of Beacon being like public and announced.
Wait,
Um,
already?
I know, isn't that crazy? Two
That
years.
that feels so much like a lie.
I still have to catch myself saying our
Yeah.
new platform. Because when I went to Gettysburg a year ago, it was the 1-year anniversary of when they announced
Ah,
Beacon.
wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Also,
feel correct.
I'm their social media person, so if we could make their social media really blow up so that they could see my value and give me a raise. Just kidding, but not really. And if you want to subscribe to Beacon, go to streambeacontv.com and use code fangirl10 to get 10% off of your subscription. And then last but not least, I made something. I wrote something. That's the crazy. I still like can't fathom the fact that I wrote and published a book.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll just be driving and I'll be like, "You did that, bitch."
You did. It's right
Um,
here.
This is The Living and the Dead. It's about a girl named Abby who was born a ghost but ages like the living, and the Reaper who would die to get her to look at him. I've written a lot of book two, and I've been having a lot of scenes come to me for book two where it's like, oh, this could happen. So yeah, working on book two. If you would like a copy, I'm on all the major retailers. But if you would like a signed copy, you have to go to aepurvis.com. And if you use code Aaron Warner, you'll get 10% off because it wouldn't be me if I didn't make at least something about Aaron Warner. So
Just a little something.
a
Just a
little
little something.
something. Yeah.
All right. And that was
That
the
was
Incoherent
Incoherent
Fangirl.
Fangirl.
Thanks for
Thank you.
listening. We love
We love
you.
you. Bye.
Bye. We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.